cycles. I mean, a lot of people were talking about how the cycles were getting elongated, but honestly, that hasn't been the case. It's been dead on to 4 years, basically. 2009, it was created. 2013 was the next top, 2017, 2021. So all we can do is look at history, and the history shows us that the bear market will last. So from peak to trough is usually about 12 months. We're already 6+ months in, so that's a good thing. And then usually the recovery comes in the next 6 months after, where it'll start to chop sideways and then begin to grind up.
At the time of writing, the markets have downturned even further, with Bitcoin hitting the $25,000 mark and Ethereum sliding down to the $1,300 range. There's panic in the market as Celsius plunged 70% in 1 hour, as the company decided to pause withdrawals to stabilize liquidity. Some might believe these market conditions are extreme, but Gareth Soloway has been calling for $20,000 Bitcoin for months and even said it can drop to as low as $12,000. It's clear that we are in a bear market, but according to Gareth, now is the time to bulk up on crypto, as the long-term bullish action will come just as predicted by the charts. Before we listen to Gareth, if you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, as we put out daily content to keep you updated on the market and news.
You know, as far as the charts are telling me, it's basically we are in a bear market. Probably price still has downside to go, but look at it like you're going to get the best buying opportunity of your life. So my general price target has us going to between 20 and 12,000. But again, it's a short-term low. And you have to keep in mind is like, so crypto's never been through a period where the Fed has been hiking rates like this, where they've been sucking money out of the system. So this is a new uncharted territory for Bitcoin. And in previous bear cycles, Bitcoin's dropped like 80 to 85%, which actually, that gives me my low end target of 12,000. That's right around 85% correction from the 69,000 high. Now, I think that because adoption is continuing and more big money is getting in, I'm hopeful that it doesn't get that low. But as a trader, one of the things I've learned is like, never underestimate the markets, whether it's stocks or crypto or anything, it will surprise you. And that could be, by the way, that could be like, hey, it maybe just starts going up right now and surprises me too. So it can do anything it wants. All we can do is kind of be smart enough to leave enough dry powder where we can accumulate at lower moves if it does happen. And so that's one of the biggest changes in my trading is like, when I was a young trader, I would be like, oh, this is the buy price. I'm going to buy it all here, put all my money in, and then it would go down further. And I'd be like, oh crap. And I can't do anything about it. Now I'm much more of like, let me put a little bit of money here. And then if it drops here, I'll add a little bit more. If it drops here, and you kind of dollar cost average, and dollar cost averaging is like the best thing in the world. And I think that's the one thing I learned as being a trader is that like, because the market can do anything it wants at any time, you have to be in a defensive mode as an investor or a trader, because that's the way you will be able to react when something does happen that's unexpected, which is inevitable. Some things work out perfectly, like you draw them up on the board, and then other things don't. And if you can't react in those situations, you lose a ton of money. And I'm at a point in this career, I'm not ready to lose a ton of money. I still remember I was in Dubai at the blockchain summit, and I did a live interview there. And I said, and this was when we were like at 65, 67,000, just before we hit the peak in November. And I said, hey guys, I think it's going down to 20. And oh my God, did people like, you're crazy. It'll be at 100,000 by the end of November, plan B and all these things. And I remember it vividly. And to be honest, I use that in my trading. I mean, this may sound weird, but the contrarian, when everyone is bullish, chances are its price is topping. And then when everyone is extremely bearish, price is bottoming. So sentiment is so important as a trader to kind of pay attention to, but you have to separate yourself out so you don't get caught up in the hype. And there were dead signals on Bitcoin back in November that it was topping. I mean, there were so many bullish people out there, and price barely pierced the high from April, and it came right back in. Then it did it again. And if everyone was bullish and buying, it should have just ripped, and it didn't. And that told you institutions were unloading there. And I saw that. I mean, it's amazing stuff. Yeah. The only thing I have going for me is that because I've traded for so long, I've seen a lot of these things. So like the same thing in crypto that was going on in late 2021 happened in the stock market in 2007. And then in 1999, the dot-com bubble. So I've kind of like, I've been to this rodeo, and I've got my head handed to me enough times where I started like, if you touch a hot stove, you're like, that hurts. All right, maybe I won't touch that again. Maybe that's a signal. And that's the same thing. As you get burned enough, you start to wisen up. You have to wisen up.
To listen to the full interview, check out the link in the description. What are your thoughts on Gareth here?